Oh man, look at this. If anybody ever tells you we don't know how to have a good time, well, oh, how fun. Welcome back everyone, it's Wilson with Urban Assault Machines. On today's video, what we're going to be going over is the reassembly of the Harley Cartridge style front ends that are found on the FXDX, FXDXTs, and the 1200S Sportsters. The process is going to be the same, but we got everything back from powder coating, and so yeah, everything's cleaned up. Let's go back together with it.
Advertise. It's no surprise the way they hide. And where's the line?
It's a good idea to install this first. It's very, very easy to forget about it and then start filling this up at a later stage with oil, only to have it start just running out everywhere. So yeah, we'll start off with this. Got some assembly lube. If you saw that, if it starts to bind, try backing it off a click or pushing it forward a click. It's, both sides are threaded, so yeah, it's kind of easy for it to bind. But once you get to this point, take your 12mm box end wrench. I'm going to screw this out all the way so I can get onto these flats. Snug it up. I'm going to get a little bit of fork oil on this, just to help lubricate everything up. Keep it from binding, going in. All right. Next, we're going to have the slide bushing right here. Same thing. I'm going to oil it up just to keep it from binding up and ease it into place. Next, I'm going to take these washers, two of the old ones and then one of the new ones, and I'm going to slide it over there because I'm going to start pounding that slide bushing into place. And with these adjustable style like that, you don't have enough room to get down in there. So if you just use all those washers, it gives you enough space to get it down in the seats. And as you can see, it's down there flush. Be sure you use the new one. Face the stamped. Since these are stamped, you're going to have one side that's rounded and one side that's got a lip to it and it's a little bit sharper. Have that sharper side facing down. That way it's not up against your seal. Next, we're going to take the seal. Be mindful of the direction these go in. They have wipers that have other seals on them that the more they compress, the better that they seal. However, if you have them flipped over the opposite direction, the opposite happens with them. So be mindful of how they go in. Check your instructions on which direction these go in. Be mindful that your tube's all cleaned up as well, because you don't want to have anything on there that's going to damage your seal while you're going in and prevent it from sealing correctly. Cause you leaks right off the bat. Okay. Again, using our seal driver. Yes, I've got everything in there. And what you're looking for when doing this is you're going around this and making sure that the groove is fully installed. And you can hear it, it changes, the tone changes once it fully seats. Yep. And I know it might be a little tricky, but there's a groove right there that this ring, right, this retaining clip, it fits into. So if you go around it, you can see when it's fully installed, and it's all exposed, and nothing preventing this from getting in there and seating correctly. Go around and work it and make sure it's in the groove. And it is. Now most kits come with a dust seal, and that would go on next. What I'm winding up doing is I'm running fork boots on this build, so there's no dust seals or the metal caps that go over the top either. I'm not running either of those on this particular build at this time. Next, we're gonna take our rod, slide it in there, and you can feel when it seats. There's a little seating groove down in there, and you can feel it when it seats. Also, if you look at the bottom side, you can tell it's seated. Then next, take a banjo bolt with our new copper washer on it, and then our 8mm Allen, applying a little bit of pressure to the top to keep it to where it actually bites. To get it to torque up, what I found works the best is I use my little impact gun like this just to get it to seat and get it to bite. Otherwise, when you're trying to apply torque with the torque wrench, the whole assembly just starts to spin. So I like to use one of these just to get it to snug up first. That should be good enough. And we are set here at 25 foot-pounds of torque. I think I'm trying to remember the range. I think the range is like 22 to 30 or something like that. So I just find a number right in the middle and go that way. There it goes. All right, so after that, what we are going to wind up doing is filling this up with fluid. And you'll pump this, you'll fill about halfway. I'm gonna do, I'll probably do just like 4 quarts, or I'm sorry, 4 ounces. And then I'm gonna pump this, fill everything up, get everything moved, and then this is what I'm gonna be using to measure. And I've got a piece of tape that to the bottom of it is right at 5 inches to the very bottom, okay? So what I'll wind up doing is filling this up until I can dunk this down like that and it holds. Pull it out, and I'll check level like that until it's to the bottom of that, and that should be perfect. All right, so let's check level. It's not quite there, so let's fill her on up. And that's looking pretty good. All right, so next what we're gonna do is install the spring. Take the spring, it's been cleaned thoroughly. Down in there it goes. Now I take just a small screwdriver, and you can do something along these lines where you lift it and then that falls down, catch it, you pull it up, and if you needed to go do something, then you can take it as a screwdriver and get it between the coils, and it holds. Just like that under there. Because otherwise it's going to try to drip down on you. It kind of makes it a pain in the ass to get to. But while we get everything set up, that's a good way how to hold it. So again, we're using, this is a bearing puller that you'd get from Harbor Freight. And this is just, you're not going to wind up doing these jobs terribly often. This is kind of an older setup. They've gone to different stuff now. So I mean, there's tools available for it, but they also require 2 people, or you should have 2 people for them. So I'm just going to improvise with this. This is how I got it all apart anyways. So what I'm trying to do is you get between these springs, okay? And I'm just getting it right up underneath this. That way this helps hold it, because this is gonna try to drift. I mean, it will settle, so that it just makes your life a little bit easier, because then it also holds it up instead of our screwdriver anymore, because we don't have enough room for that. So I try to get it up as tall as possible with these. And then we will do this. We've got our little clip ready. We've got our collar. And then we've got our 2 washers that go on there. So these are stamped, and the manual calls for having the smooth side, like you're gonna feel them. One side's a little bit smoother and more rounded than the other, just because of how the stamping process works. It always says in the manual to keep the sharp edge up against the collar on both sides. So yeah, see, feel it like that. Cool. All right. Fuck. There it goes. There. Cool. All right. God, that's a fucking pain in the ass. All right, so now this piece goes on. I like to push it down like that because you got 2 different sets of threads that you're trying to engage here, and it just makes getting the bottom ones a little bit easier if you push that down. Push it on to get past the seal. Screw it on down. Now there is a torque for this, but I feel like I'm a pretty good torque wrench dealer of torque. It's like 22 foot-pounds. Feels about right. So then you're going to want to screw in this top part for the preload adjuster. And that will expose this little groove up top, which is where your little C-clip came off of. You're going to want to, there, that one right there. And that just keeps this from backing all the way off. So now we'll take all the rest of this stuff apart. Well, actually, before we do that, let's get this clip out. There, cool. So now everything's kind of missing. Well, the camera ran out of memory. So what I was saying is this was all misaligned. So what you do is you take this preload adjuster, back that all the way off, and then kind of just wiggle everything to get it all to line up to where like your upper washer, your collar, your lower washer, and your spring all line up. Otherwise this won't go together. But the next step is you take your tube, slide it up, and you engage it with your top cap. And just screw everything together. And then you can torque that once you get it into the triple tree, if you don't have a fork vise. But yeah, that's basically how it's done. That's a wrap.